My husband. We've been together for 2 decades, a little over 21 years. So, can you imagine my surprise when I learn a secret about him? Well, he likes younger women. And yeah, I know I said we're married, right? We're not in an open relationship or anything like that, so how do I know he loves younger women? Ha! A little birdie told me. Dedicated my life to my husband for 20 years only for him to embarrass me, publicly. I've always thought that Jared and we would actually grow old together. But I thought he would always be mine. Always be here to listen to me and to talk to me whenever I needed him. Well, I scarcely remember a time when he was not here. For the past week, he's not been on his side of the bed, and it's driving me insane. I long to go to the past, to the long, lazy days we spent on holidays after the last of our kids left the nest. I want to go back to how boring, how mundane our lives used to be. Sure, the passion has long since burned out, and I don't mind it. In its place, there's something stronger. Companionship. He always knew what I wanted to say before I said it, and I always knew how he liked things to be done. It all came naturally to me over 20 years of being together. I did not mind that he no longer wanted to do romantic things. I was happy with it just being us, and peace and silence. While most of my friends complained about wanting something more and never satisfied with their marriage, I was content. Many of them asked me the secret to a happy marriage, a lasting one. Well, there's no secret. Just a simple thing of respecting each other and always just being honest. In our 20 years of marriage, we faced a lot of trials. We got married when our first daughter was 5 years old, and there was a love triangle with an ex of his who would not leave him alone. I kind of knew that he was seeing the both of us. His mom wanted him to get married to the girl while his dad preferred me. My parents were not happy and just thought that I was being played. They told me to leave my daughter with them and go enjoy my youth. So I took a year off and I went to go travel Europe, only to come back 3 months into my trip after finding out that I was once again pregnant. His mom had taken advantage of the fact that I was gone and tried to get him married. When I came back and found out, you know what, I was fuming. I caused a scene right at this engagement dinner, asking him if he could not think for himself. I asked him how long he was going to keep on giving me kids and claiming that he loves me but succumbing to his mom's whims. That was how it was revealed that I was pregnant. He broke off everything with that girl and she left town soon after. She's hated me for many years since, but all fair is in love and war. After all, we got married in a simple ceremony and have had one more kid. Our kids' age are 25, 20, and 17. I'd say our 17-year-old has just gone off to college, and he even skipped a couple grades because he's so smart. So it's just been the two of us. Here I was, just thinking that everything was okay, until I found out that our account was being emptied. My first thought went to the kids. We gave them permission to dip into the family funds if times got hard, and we never asked questions. We've amassed a lot of savings over the years, so it barely made a dent in our finances. However, I'd raised my eyebrows at the most recent transactions because thousands of dollars were leaving the account every single week. When I went to interrogate my kids, they knew absolutely nothing about it. So, I didn't know what to do. I spoke to the bank, but they weren't very helpful. They offered to help me block the cards and get new ones, but also launched a fraud investigation. When it started with even bigger amounts, I lost it and decided to question my husband. He was honest with me and told me that he's been gambling, and he had a huge problem. So I got him a counselor so that he would deal with the problem, and here I was thinking that he was going to see the counselor when he was busy seeing some girl. Then one day, my second oldest daughter, who's 20, called me and told me that my husband was having an affair with a 19-year-old, and she's pregnant. I failed to understand just how that all happened under my nose, and why it had to be my 20-year-old who would tell me this. According to her, her college roommate had the sister, who visited during her parents' weekend. The girl wore very expensive clothing and had the latest gadgets. She bragged that she had some older man who was supplying this, and she said that she tried to get her own sister and my daughter into it, but both declined. While they declined it, she still showed them the site where she got this man, and she even showed pictures of him. Oh, my daughter's heart sank when she realized it was her father. She said that she did not let the girl know as she needed to process this just for a bit, as she was working through all of this event. The girl's sister told her that she was pregnant, and I'll call that girl Gracie, just to protect her identity. Gracie was sure that the child was the older man's. She told him about it, and he said that he would take care of the baby. So I asked her to send me evidence that she had of this. She sent me chats between her and her roommate and some screenshots her roommates took. That night, when my husband came back from work, I told him that I've made a special meal for him. It was going to be a very exotic cuisine. I opened the lid for him to see the food and showed him his surprise. I compiled all the information I got from my daughter as well from the bank, and I then asked him how gambling therapy was going since he's never went to one session. Guys, this man decides that the best way to get around this lie was saying that he had no idea about it. I took his phone and started going through it. He tried to be loud and tell me that I had no right to go through his phone, but there was nothing that he could do to stop me. He was never being a big person enough to lay a hand on me, and he did not start then. He just watched in horror as I went through all the messages and the pictures. I was grossed out at all the things that this man was writing, and I've never knew he had such a filthy mind. I threw the phone at him, and it missed him and hit him right on the side of the head. I started screaming at him and letting out all my frustration for even looking at a girl who was 19. I told him that's predatory behavior. She barely even knew what she was doing, and I also gave him hell for using money, my money, to give that girl a luxurious lifestyle. I said that his daughter was living simple life at college, and she did not have designer clothes, yet he was buying Gracie all those clothes. He stood up and told me that it was enough, and he was out of there, and I asked him about the baby. He turned to me and said in the coldest voice ever that he was keeping it. I would either accept it or let him be. He said that he had found a spark with Gracie, something that died with us a long time ago. He called me a glorified roommate and told me that he was out. Well, the next day his brother came to fetch his clothing, and I was so angry that for days I was just rage cleaning and avoiding all the calls from people. It appeared that the girl had started telling more people about this taboo relationship with an older man because you know what? Now she's pregnant, and I could not even leave the house to go to the store because I was so scared of being embarrassed by him. I was unable to sleep, unable to eat, simply because those images would haunt me, and every time I thought of them, I felt sick. I still feel sick, and I've just been unable to go to work all week. Luckily, I work for myself, but I cannot do this anymore. How do I navigate this? When he is the one that I love the most and see myself growing old with. I just miss him so much, but I hate him so much right now. I wish that it was not like that. It was so easy to cut ties with him, but it's not. Update. 1 month later. Hey, it's me again, and thank you for the comments. I've been reading each and every one. It's helped me to stay out of my head. Seeing the situation from another person's point of view has helped me a lot. It's helped me as my family has fallen apart, and I've lost all that I loved, and I'm at the lowest point ever. I also got into a fight with a 19-year-old, and I'm not very proud of myself. I've always prided myself on being dignified, soft-spoken of a person that's just not been me for the past 2 weeks. It's like I've absolutely lost my mind and become unhinged. I'm the one who had to tell the other 2 kids that their father cheated on me and wants to leave me for a younger woman. Both of them were absolutely crushed, and I had to deal with the aftermath. He was cold and unaffected by it all, and he came to my house when he wanted to because it's still his house and he wanted to use the study. He told me that he would have all of his stuff fully moved out by the time we got divorced. I said nothing to him because, most of the time I wanted to preserve my peace. That is until our dog Toto started to make a lot of noise. Well, when I went to him, I noticed that he was in distress, and my husband had just left the house, something that told me to go after him. That's when I saw him hand one of Toto's puppies to a young woman. He kissed her on the cheek, and she smiled at him, and all I saw was red. I stormed right up to him and snatched Toto. I looked her in the eyes and told her that she should get the hell off my property before I messed her up. Was she not tired of stealing? She told me to chill out, stop being a Karen, it's just a dog. You know what? It's not just a dog. It's my dog. Oh, my dog. What gave him the right to come into my house and take my baby like that? He tried to get involved, but things were too heated between myself and Gracie. This ended in a scuffle which he had to break down, and I simply told him to take the puppy if he wanted to see crazy. I was ready to do unspeakable things to keep my puppy. He just sighed and told me to stop being so dang childish. She then told him to quickly get the divorce finalized, and she did not like that he had to spend time around such a crazy person. Those two left my property, and I have not seen them since. Update number 2. Hey y'all, just wanted to say that I'm doing so much better now that it's 4 months later. The divorce got finalized, and I sure did take him to the cleaners. I made sure to reveal every dirty secret I could to the judge. By the end of it all, he had no leg to stand on. The great part was that even his family was on my side, and you know what? They were horrified by what he had done and were convinced that he had knocked his head somewhere. He proudly told all of them that he had fallen in love with Gracie, and they need to accept it, or else he could cut them off. So slowly his family cut off ties with him because he was so embarrassing. Maybe he felt good about having a young girl on his side, but the people in town treated him like a joke. I got so many sympathetic messages from people telling me that the trash had taken itself out and I absolutely dodged a bullet. I had also gotten the house and half of his money in the divorce. My daughters and son were my rock throughout all this. They made sure to call me every day and check up on me to make sure that I was okay. After the divorce was finalized, my daughter suggested that I throw a divorce party. Well, I've never heard of such a thing, celebrating a divorce before. At first, the concept seemed a bit weird to me, but she explained the whole point of it, and it sucked that I'd wasted nearly 30 years of my life with him, but at least now I knew the truth and I was free to be me. So, I had the divorce party and it was a blast. It made me feel so much better about the whole situation and made me release some of the anger that I felt. Now it's time for me to focus on myself and love myself. I'm the most important person to myself right now, and I'm going to make sure that I treat myself right. In addition to that, I can now invest more of my time in my kids' lives. I did not realize it, but I spent a lot of my day worrying about Jared. Now that I do not do that, I find that I have more time to myself. I've slept for the first time since I was in school. I've cooked what I want to eat, not what he wants to eat, and I've worn colors that he hates. And I finally cut my hair. He told me that he did not like short hair once 10 years ago, and since then I've only trimmed it. This time I've cut it, and I've bleached it. Talk about extreme, but I'm loving it, and I feel so young once again. Update number 3. And the plot thickens. Guess who gets to have the last laugh? Me, of course. I've been itching to get home and update you all about this. Maybe it makes me a bad person, but I've been crying literal tears of joy because karma came quickly. It's now a month after my last update and there's trouble in paradise. Jared and Gracie were planning to get married after the baby was born, but those plans have been thwarted because not 1, not 2, but 4 guys are claiming to be the father of Gracie's baby. Yeah, I'm shocked. The woman's been busy. I can barely keep up with watering my garden, and she has time for 5 guys? That is insane and such juicy tea. Anyways, grab your snacks and drinks and let me tell you how it all went down. So apparently Miss Gracie has several boyfriends in other states. She starts visiting them every couple of weeks and hiding it from Jared. She told all of them that the baby was theirs and they had been spoiling the heck out of her. She thought that she was going to get away with it, but then she flew too close to the sky. When she did not know who was that 2 of the guys were related, one of them threw a surprise baby shower for her, and guess who was present? That's right, the other baby daddy. A fight was unavoidable at this point, and the 2 men fought. Word got around and video was shared, and lo and behold, the other baby daddies found out about each other. So, all of them hatched a plan and showed up to her and my ex-husband's parties where they were celebrating their engagement. I was not there, but my daughter was. I told her to go just in case there was tea, and it's like I predicted it because there was tea. It's said that they all dragged her name through the mud and revealed that she's been having 2 relationships for over 3 years, and the other 3 were short-term. All of them claimed that they were the baby's father and they wanted custody. And then there was Jared, who tried to be macho. He decided to believe her and accused all of them of just being jealous. My daughter told me that one of the men told him to count himself out since he had already expired. I'll admit that got a little chuckle out of me. So then he tried to prove that he was macho and not expired and tried to fight a 21-year-old guy who happened to be a boxer. So yeah, he's in the hospital right now with a pretty messed up face and some cracked ribs because he wanted to be smart. As for Miss Gracie, she's suddenly become very quiet since all of this happened. I feel like calling her and just laughing for no reason because I sure am feeling petty. Alas, I'll not do that. I'm grown and she's a child, even though the things that she does are not things that other kids are doing out there. I'm sure that her parents have a thing or two to say about what she's been doing. Come to think of it, I've not heard from her parents since this whole thing started. Where are they, and how are they allowing their daughter to do something like this? I mean, how can she not know who the father of her child is? She's clearly a troubled kid. For her to even try to date someone who's 20 years older than her when she's just gotten out of high school is also a massive issue. I wonder what the parents think about all this. Anyways, I just cannot ask because it's honestly none of my business. Update number 4. It's been a week since my ex-husband was admitted to the hospital. He just got discharged today and asked to see our son. Our son is not comfortable driving yet, so I decided to drive him there. When I got there, his mom asked me to stay for coffee. So I did, since she makes some delicious cookies. I sat outside with his mom while he talked to his son, and Zach did not want to see his father, but I had no choice. He's not 18 yet, so we do have joint custody of him, and I was sure that the poor guy was feeling awkward and simply did not know what to say to his father. Poor him. It must have been so hard to deal with all that. He did not even know who his dad was anymore, and as we sat there drinking our tea, there was a very loud car honking outside the gate. It went on, and it would not stop. I went to open the gate and was nearly run over by some woman behind the wheel. She parked, flew out of the car, and started to scream my ex's name. I told her to calm the heck down or else I would call the cops on her, and who the heck did she think that she was? She paced back and forth outside the house as she called out his name. His mom grabbed her hand and dragged her back to her car and told her to stop making a scene. She asked how she could stop making a scene when that old gross man had corrupted her daughter. That's when I realized that the woman just looked just like Gracie. It's Gracie's mom. I would have thought that she would have arrived a lot sooner, but she was several months too late. I told her to calm down. I would take her to the person that she wanted, and she gave me a very dirty look but allowed me to lead her into the house. I told Zach to get into the car. I wanted to say my goodbyes and leave, and I knew that my former mother-in-law would fill me in on everything later. But then Jared said something that made me stop in my tracks. He asked Mary what she was doing here, and it's been years since he last saw her. I knew who Mary was. She was someone that we buried at the back of our mind so many years ago, and now she's back. I examined her face to the very last line, and I could confirm that this was an older Mary, the woman that Jared nearly married years ago, and when she left town, we never saw her again. Mary looked like she was about to be sick, and she sat down, looked at him for a moment, and asked him if he was the one who got Gracie pregnant. He said it's possible, but there's no way for him to know if he was the real father. He told her that there were many other possibilities, and he was just as confused as she was. She moved so fast I simply could not stop her. She slapped him and asked him how he could do that with her, and she could have been his daughter. That's when my brain started to do the math. Before I could stop myself, it was out of my mouth. I asked Mary if Gracie was Jared's daughter, and as soon as Jared heard that, he practically jumped off the couch. I heard retching soon after that, and I kept on asking Mary, but she was frozen. Maybe she was coming to the same realization that I was, and if that was the case, then this whole thing was about to get a whole lot grosser. Soon he came back, and the man was bawling his eyes out. He starts to pray and ask for forgiveness, and he cried some more and looked like he was about to roll on the ground. That's when Mary clicked her tongue and told him to stop being so dramatic. She was not his child, and she had Gracie with the person she met after her engagement got broken thanks to me. She gave me a look, but I just shrugged. I still do not regret breaking that engagement off. If I did not, then I would not have had my 3 beautiful babies. She then told him that it could have easily, very easily been the opposite. Now, did he understand how very messed up that was that he dated someone who was 19 years old? She then said that clearly he must have been attracted to her daughter because she looked like Mary. I could tell that she was trying to make herself feel better and also hurt me. Too bad I did not care about that man. I told everyone that my son and I were leaving. I took my bag and I was on the road. Well, that was a turn that I was simply not expecting. Update number 5. So, hey guys, I hope everything and everyone has been going good. I've been very tired as of lately, and I've been picking up a lot of work lately, and that's made me tired. I can't complain because business is booming and I've been selling houses and apartments nonstop, and well, what's been, helping to keep my mind busy. But I know you're not here for me to tell you about the boring things that have been happening in my life. You're here because you want an update on the tea, and of course I'm going to give you the tea that you deserve. It's piping hot, something that's just recently happened. Did my idiot of an ex-husband not take that girl back because she swore to him that all these men were liars? She said that she wants to move the wedding up and did not want to wait any longer. Jared's mom just advised him not to do it. She told him that the girl was unfaithful and would continue to do so, but of course, he wanted to prove a point even though everyone was laughing at them. The wedding was a disaster because Gracie's mom did not approve of the relationship. She gate-crashed the wedding and demanded that it be stopped. She had to be escorted out by security, and this was not a surprise to me because much earlier, she had come to me and asked for me to help in sabotaging the wedding. She thought that I wanted that loser back and would humiliate myself for him. The old me would have fought the whole world for him, but now he's not even worth it. I wished her luck in her plan and just deleted her number. She and I are not friends, and we will never be friends. I don't trust her, and for her to have a daughter like that speaks volumes about how she raised her kids. This was not about to turn into some cliche movie where all these scorned women team together and take revenge on a toxic ex. I just had to watch it happen without getting a single finger dirty, and this is exactly what I did. The wedding was not only the disaster that happened in their lives, and as soon as she gave birth, her baby was taken away for the DNA testing, and the 4 guys have teamed up to get the court order so that the baby would be tested. Well, all the tests came out negative to everyone's surprise. This made everyone think that the child was indeed his, but his mother decided to do a test on the child to see if she shared any DNA with him. Lo and behold, she was not related to the child. Any rational person would take this to mean that the child was not Jared's, right? No, Gracie had one more trick up her sleeve. She told Jared that the child shares no DNA with his mom because he himself was not his mom's child. To tell you that I was shocked by how far she would go with her lies, I was shaking with laughter when I heard that she was telling people that he was adopted. Thankfully, that's where he drew the line over her making a fool out of him. He took the paternity test, which proved that the baby was not his. Everyone in town already knew that he was just the person to find out. His marriage was short-lived, and he kicked her out and told her to go to her baby's father. From what I've heard, there are 3 other possibilities of who the father is, but they don't want to take responsibility, and she's trying to get a court order so that she can test them. Maybe she's doing it so that she can get solace, but at least her baby's future is secured. Even though Jared is not the biological father of her son, he's the person who's on the birth certificate. That means that he's responsible for the child whether he wants to be or not. He deeply regrets all that he's done. He sent me this very long voice message telling me that he wished that he could go back in old time and not do what he did. Well, he should have not done what he did in the first place, and I'm thankful that he did, though, because I'm having the best life. I've been living it to the fullest, and it feels nice to be courted and complimented again, and turns out that it's not too late for old me to find some love. Right now, I'm not rushing into anything. If I settle down, I do, but right now I'm just enjoying having some options. I also want to spend time on my career. I've been having a lot of business lately, and the money's definitely welcome. I have to work on refilling my savings after that man spent most of it on that brat. Final update. Hey guys, it's 2 months later, and just a short update. I've just gotten the news that Gracie's child's father has been found. He's a married man, who's the prominent member of the church that her mother goes to. Her mother called me today and she was hysterical, saying that their whole lives are over and they will have to move. By the way, my mom lives in a different town and Gracie was in our town because of Jared, and she went back to live with her mother after things went south for her. I feel sorry for her mom, but what could you expect? I mean, come on. I always say that the way someone raises their child has a lot to do with how they turn out. It's not always the case, but the majority of the time it determines the child's path in life. You guys would not believe the comment section on today's story. I mean, they were ripping Jared to pieces, saying how he's a predator, how he's disgusting, how he only wanted Gracie because she looked like her mom, and they were just going on and on about how vile he was, and I want to know what you guys think about it. What do you have to say about it? Drop it down below in the comment section, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every single day. And if anybody out there has been in a similar situation that we find OP in today's story, let me know about it. If you want to share your story, drop it down below. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, my name's Mr. Reddito, and if you guys want to be a part of these daily animated stories, the best way is to simply subscribe. Hit that subscribe button with the bell notifications as well. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.